Well, Texas is preparing for a winter storm. They just put us underneath a winter storm watch. And the winter weather in Texas, man, it's so hard to predict. It's either going to be really nothing, or it's going to be way worse than they predicted. So people do tend to freak out down here because, for one, we're not used to it, and for two, there's just no certainty at all in the forecast. A lot of people think back to the 2021 freeze that we had that really crippled the entire state. And I was talking to someone at work the other day, and I said, I remember when I was a kid, we'd have winter weather here in Texas. It was, in fact, a little bit more common. I think we'd have it every year just about. But it didn't involve like the entire state shutting down or the power grids failing. I don't know what's caused all that to happen. When you have winter weather here in Texas, it usually means that one or more critical systems is going to fail. They have lessened the amount of snow that we're supposed to get, and they've increased the temperature by 1 or 2 degrees. So it may not be that bad, but the minute they start saying it's not bad, that's when you really start to worry about it. So if you're here in North Texas, this is January 2025, so we'll see what happens. More than likely, I won't go to work Thursday or Friday, just to be on the safe side. We had a meeting scheduled on Saturday too, but I think I'm going to cancel that just to keep things, kosher, safe and sound. But anyway, so for those of you that are not from here, that's why Texas freaks out. We're not used to it. We don't have the infrastructure for it. They've already come out and treated the roads. They use a brine solution here, which is basically salt water, and they come out several days in advance and spray that over the roads. I don't know how effective it is. It really just depends on how much ice and how much moisture we get and how cold it becomes. But anyway, it's kind of no different than if you're up in the Northeast and it gets to be 105 degrees and everything starts failing and people start freaking out. It's the equivalent to that down here. Here, if it gets to be 105, we just call that July, and we don't worry about it. It's so crazy, you're trying to get readjusted coming back from the winter break. A lot of us have time off. I had several days off, and it's so interesting how quickly you can get off your schedule. And every year you say, well, when I get, have some time off, I'm not going to get off my schedule. That way it doesn't screw me up when I go back to work. That never seems to happen. You're going to get off your schedule. You're going to stay up late. You're going to sleep in. And so it just takes a while to get readjusted to going back to work. And now this is my first full week back to work since right before Christmas. And now it's going to be cut short because of a winter storm. I'll work from home, but I still won't have to get out and go anywhere. So it'll be, it's not helping me get back on my schedule, but it is what it is. We're hoping we stay warm and everything in the house, but it's been really cold the last couple of mornings. I think this morning it was 20. Yesterday morning it was 18. And the RV stayed really warm, actually. I used my heated blanket, but I ended up having to take it off both nights just because of how warm it actually got in my room. And all we have on is the electric fireplace and 2 little tiny $9 Walmart personal heaters, one in each bedroom. They run about 400 watts, so I felt okay running both of those. We do have a backup space heater in the living room, and we have had that on once or twice, but not for any extended period of time. So, and the RV's not skirted yet or anything, so we're just actually staying pretty warm. Now, we did have the windows and stuff freeze up but it wasn't that bad. The windows were frozen with ice, but the inside of the house was like 70. It ranges between like 68 and 76, depending on what room of the house you're in. The living room, of course, is the warmer room because it's got the big electric fireplace in it. But it hasn't been bad. We didn't shut the water off or anything. We just kind of sat there and let the pipe strip. Our outside pipe into the RV is heat taped and pipe wrapped, so it's held out just fine. When we're gone from the house, I don't leave the heat on at all. I don't leave the electric heaters on. We do have propane, but the main reason we use that furnace is just to come home and turn it on, get the house heated back up in a relatively quick manner. So we'll turn that on, we'll turn the fireplace and the heaters on, and in about 30 minutes or so, the home will go from 50 degrees when we get home to about 65, and then it just kind of creeps up from there. So it's really been quite doable. Plus, in Texas, if it's sunny like it is today, like it has been yesterday too, it will heat the house up. It doesn't matter how cold it is. The other day it was like 34 degrees and the wind was whipping like crazy, but it was sunny, so we didn't even have to, we didn't turn the heat on until the sun started getting off of the house about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm trying to think of something else to talk about. It's very crazy. You get some time off and you get really disconnected from the world. You just go, okay, what in the heck? And it's funny because, I'm on Facebook and stuff all the time, and right after New Year's, I didn't hear anything about the bombing in New Orleans or the one in Vegas at the Trump hotel. I hadn't been watching the news. That's a ritual of mine, is in the morning. When I get up in the morning, I turn on the local news and I watch that. For those of you in North Texas, it's Channel 4 for me. I don't watch all those other news stations. I like Channel 4, but I had been watching that on my time off. And so I found out about it. I'm like, what the heck went on down there? I don't understand. I understand what happened. There was a terrorist thing. But my Lord, New Orleans, I don't understand why New Orleans. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I guess maybe easier target. People weren't really expecting it. Don't you hate that when you pass a cop on the road, you're like, crap. I'm always going like 5 miles over, so I always just hope they don't get me. But I don't know. The world's nuts, and I think both these people, they said, are former military people. And here we are. They look like they've been corrupted by some organization. I just don't understand the taking of innocent life. I don't get it. I don't know how you do that. I don't know in what realm of the world or in your mind you live in that somehow, in whatever afterlife you believe in, you will be rewarded for taking an innocent life. Multiple innocent lives, but one innocent life is enough to, for me to say, look, why would you think you'd be rewarded for that? You're not under attack. You're not, this is not war. You just decided one day that you'd rent some stupid truck from somewhere, load it up with some explosives, and go kill a bunch of random people. Why? Now, I'm not up to date on any of that on the story, to be honest with you. But I'm not sure if the people died or the bomber died or anything. But I just don't get it, y'all. It's a mess. Kind of reminds me a little bit, not nearly as tragic, but of the Oklahoma City bombings from back in the day. Sorry, I'm tired. But I remember as a kid watching that, and it was the most terrifying thing that something like that could happen, the Oklahoma City bombing. And it's very interesting how that just kind of falls back into oblivion, and people don't even really talk about it anymore at all. And the same with 9/11 to an extent. I mean, more people talk about 9/11 than the Oklahoma City bombing, because 9/11 was way worse than the Oklahoma City bombing as far as damage and the amount of people that were killed. But it doesn't have the same impact it did when it happened. And it certainly, the last several, the first couple of years after the Oklahoma City bombing, it was, or the World Trade Center. Well, both really, but the first several years afterwards, it's memorials and things like that. And now all of a sudden, a couple of years later, a couple of decades later, it doesn't have the same impact because the younger generation doesn't understand what happened. And thinking back on that, those tragedies, the one thing I will say is that it brought the country together in a very good way. And the country has been so divided the last honestly 12 years or so that you kind of miss that. You don't want anything like that to happen again, but you know what I'm saying. You miss that unity where everybody was proud to be an American, everybody had this kind of one set goal. And now it's not the same anymore. I think as I get older, I'm starting to become more sentimental, and you start to reminisce more about the way things used to be. And I was thinking about that over Christmas break, and then after I got back, people say, "Oh, how was your Christmas?" And it's amazing how you kind of, Christmas isn't the same as it used to be. I think every year it gets worse, and of course it's not the same. It can never be the same, but I mean the magic and the excitement about it, it just doesn't have the same feeling anymore. And I think every year we try to recreate that, which is why for some reason, or one of the reasons that the holidays can be somewhat disappointing is that you just you don't get that same feeling. You work really hard to try to recreate something, and it's just not the same anymore. So who knows? I'm rambling. I'm really tired. When these fronts and stuff come in, I just don't sleep well. I operate on like 5-6 hours of sleep anyway. And I could, when I'm off, even on the weekend, I get a couple hours of sleep, boom, I'm up, I'm ready to go. During the work week, the same couple hours of sleep, and I'm dead to the world. I'm like, no, if I could just get 5 more hours, I think I'd be okay. No better time can you sleep than when you have to go to work, right? That snooze button. Oh, you could really catch some sleep. I heard someone say on the radio or something the other day that, that 9 minutes for the snooze button, you press that, all you get is 9 minutes of sleep. But if you went ahead and got up in that 9 minutes, something fantastic could happen to you. I'm like, yeah, something fantastic could happen to you. But what will happen to me if I press that snooze button is something marginally fantastic, which is 9 more minutes of sleep, and that is a guarantee. So I'm still going to keep hitting that snooze button. And I'm really bad about just getting out of bed in the morning. I I don't wake up perky. I don't wake up excited and happy to tackle the day. I wake up and I'm like, I can literally stay in bed. I do almost every morning. I wake up way earlier than I actually get up to get ready. And I just lay in bed pondering why the hell am I up every morning. I haven't slept and felt rested probably in 3 to 4 years in the morning. Now nap time is different. When I nap, I wake up, I feel great, but going to sleep at night and waking up in the morning, I don't feel fantastic. I don't feel great. So it's just one of those weird things. I never feel rested. I'm always tired. I wish I could change that. That's the one thing I really wish I could change, is that I could feel rested again. And my diet sucks and my exercise level's horrible. So that's probably everything to do with it. I'm addicted to nicotine, things like that, but at least I admit it. I used to exercise and stuff all the time, but I should, and I'd like to. I just can't seem to find the time. I can't seem to be. It's funny, when you're younger and there's so many more things that matter to you than work, and staying at home when you're not at work. Then we get older, work is so important, and then spending time at home and the home projects and things like that you have to do. But I'm hoping this spring, now that we're not living in an apartment again, we have things to do around the house and yard maintenance and things like that, that I will at least somewhat be more active, because I don't, I will have things I actually have to do. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the day. Take it for what they are. Sorry, I'm exhausted. But meanwhile, traffic, look at this traffic. For DFW, this is not bad at all. Now, it is 9:30 in the morning, so a lot of the rush hour stuff's gone, but I still don't think everybody's back at work. Because even yesterday, traffic wasn't that bad, and I was suspicious about that. So I'm just wondering, is everybody back at work? But right now, heck, I'm going 70-something miles an hour. It's 9:30 in the morning. I'm right near the airport here in Dallas, and not really anything. So we can't really complain. It may slow down. No, not even up here on the bridge where it usually does. So every time it's like this, I wonder what in the world's going on in the world. Because what in the world's going on in the world? That was a horrible sentence. But I think, has the rapture happened? Why are there so many less people all of a sudden? Was there a thing? Was there a surprise holiday I didn't know about? But what I think it is although it's January 7th, I still think there's a number of people who may have not taken off before the holidays, but have taken off a week or two after the holidays. I think that's probably what it is. But schools are back in session, and so who knows? But traffic's fantastic. I'm really happy with it right now. But anyway, that's my thoughts for the day. Hope you enjoyed them. I'm going to try to do more of these. I have literally nothing to do in the car. My commute to work is typically an hour and a half one way. So I literally have nothing to talk about. For safety and privacy reasons, I'll never show me getting too close to work, or I always start it when I'm several miles away from the house so people can't track me down. Not that I'm really worried about it. At this stage in life, I don't have tons of money. I'm not that attractive. I don't know why anyone would track me down. But you never know. So enjoy your day. Thanks for watching.